And that's, you can see with Floyd too. Floyd really was like that too. He really like, although he like continued like to got belts and shit like that, but
Floyd Mayweather is once again provoking Gervonta Davis after getting involved in Lamont Roach's training camp, just like he did with Frank Martin. Mayweather plans to help Roach prepare for his fight against Tank Davis, hoping to give him his first career loss before retiring. Gervonta Davis has 2 wins over Frank Martin from the amateurs, and Floyd Mayweather wants Lamont Roach to close the gap. Mayweather, known as the king of defense during his great career, is helping Roach avoid punches from his undefeated opponent, who has a 93% knockout rate.
I still want to talk to you about, talk to Danny a little bit about what he's got going on and, just kind of transitioning. There's so much going on in boxing right now. I wanted to get you guys' thoughts. So, look, at 130 pounds.
After failing with Frank Martin, Floyd Mayweather hopes to succeed with Lamont Roach. The rift between Gervonta Davis and Mayweather now seems beyond repair, and Mayweather would be happy if the WBA lightweight champion loses his next fight. It would be a good laugh for him.
Obviously, Tank isn't the biggest 135-pounder. Everybody fights is damn near bigger than him. I think the only person that was smaller than him was Pitbull.
Gervonta Davis has a perfect 39-0 record with 28 knockouts. His last fight was in June, where he dominated Frank Martin with speed and power before knocking him out in the middle rounds. In 2023, he also defeated Ryan Garcia in one of the biggest fights of the year. Lamont Roach is on a 6-fight winning streak since his only career loss to Jamel Herring in 2019. His biggest win came in November when he narrowly beat Hector Garcia by split decision to win a world title. Mayweather initially felt Davis was cherry-picking, as the lightweight division is full of great talents. Fighters like Devin Haney, Shakur Stevenson, Ryan Garcia, Isaac Cruz, Rayo Valenzuela, Teofimo Lopez, and Vasily Lomachenko would be better opponents for Davis than Lamont Roach. Mayweather claims that if Davis continues like this, he will have no real boxing legacy and will leave the sport as just another champion with no special accolades.
I lost my Uncle Roger, that was a defeat. I lost. When I lost a lot of loved ones around me, my grandmother, when I lost the mother of my children, those losses you can't bounce back from.
What stands out the most is how Floyd Mayweather's comments completely contrast with boxing trainer Greg Hackett's opinion. Hackett sees the upcoming Gervonta Davis vs. Lamont Roach fight as a good matchup, though he admits Roach may not be well known to casual boxing fans who don't follow the sport closely.
Pitbull, you know what I'm saying? And that's just in height and stature. He was, technically bigger than Tank too. But, Tank is comfortable at 130.
Hackett points out that Roach lacks the flair of fighters like Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, which he attributes to Roach's laid-back personality. He told YSM Sports Media that for those who know Lamont and understand boxing, it's a good fight. However, what's missing is that flair. Lamont is a gentleman, relaxed, and not the type to intimidate. Even if he tried, it wouldn't fully work because of his light skin, green eyes, and calm look. On the other hand, Tank has tattoos, intense eyes, braids, and a wild energy that makes him look dangerous. He also adds extra showmanship, from his outfit to his whole presence, bringing the kind of flair that Roach doesn't.
It's boxing. What's gonna happen is gonna happen. It's boxing.
Lamont is a cool guy, but he can fight and he is a champion, so he deserves respect. The problem is that people always look for hype and big fights when in reality this is a good fight. Lamont Roach knows Tank Davis, and Tank knows Roach. It's a local fight, and huge for their area, the DMV. Both of them have fought Hector Garcia, with Tank facing him just a year and a half ago, showing they are on the same level. Hackett questioned how people can say Tank is cherry-picking when Roach has a title, they have history, and they know each other. The only thing missing is the kind of flair that fighters like Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney have because they have been in the spotlight for years.
The world of boxing is what it is. You just don't ever know what can happen in the sport.
Right.
I mean, we take losses every day, even though I may have had my hand raised every time I went out there and performed, but
It's not surprising how Floyd Mayweather is handling this, given how bad his relationship with Gervonta Davis has become in recent months. They have turned into complete enemies, publicly attacking each other. It all started when Mayweather, in an interview with Fight Hype, criticized boxers who focus more on luxury than improving their skills. Things got worse when Mayweather brought Shakur Stevenson into it, lied about Davis's fight, and mocked the Baltimore champion.
those are lifetime losses. And as long as you went out there and gave it 100% in that square circle, if you gave it 100% and you happy with what you did when you went out there, then that's what it is.
The worst part was that Mayweather not only took sides against Davis in his last fight, but also acted in a way that didn't suit a boxing legend. He wanted Davis to lose so badly that he didn't stop at posting on Instagram about the fight being canceled. He even called an easy win for Davis a 50-50 fight and gave Frank Martin tips to help him beat Tank. Mayweather's feud with Gervonta Davis got so deep that he secretly called Davis's opponent, Frank Martin, and gave him tips on how to win. Whether Martin ignored the advice or it just wasn't enough, we don't know. On fight night, Martin started strong but fell short in the 8th round. After 1 minute and 49 seconds, a powerful shot from Davis sent him to the canvas, giving Davis his 30th career win.
Come on, Davis!
The real issue wasn't just the fight itself, but the involvement of Floyd Mayweather, who had been in a heated feud with Gervonta Davis, one of the biggest mentor versus protege battles in recent history. Frank Martin mentioned in several pre-fight interviews that Mayweather had offered some help ahead of the fight, possibly trying to get back at Davis for being disrespectful to him.
Young fighters, he loves to embrace guys, so what was being around talking to Floyd? Like, what has Floyd taught you about fighting, and has it made you a better fighter? Because he could tell me all day to do that shit he does.
It surprised boxing fans and professionals when Frank Martin, known as The Ghost, revealed that he had been receiving advice from Gervonta Davis's former mentor and promoter, Floyd Mayweather. The two lightweight fighters faced off in the ring at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas on June 15th, with Gervonta "Tank" Davis successfully retaining his World Boxing Association title.
I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what does being around a guy like Floyd do for you?
He could tell you, go run at 2 in the morning. Go do it when, cause 9.
As expected, there was a lot of trash talk between the two leading up to the fight. Tank Davis was the heavy favorite going in, but before the fight, challenger Frank Martin appeared on the Pivot podcast on YouTube, where he shared the Mike Tyson-like advice Floyd Mayweather had given him to help gain the upper hand in his fight against Gervonta Davis.
Help him become world champion and take things to that next level. And I've always been there for him. And just over the years, you can see I've always been positive, always said great.
Frank Martin admits that getting advice from Floyd Mayweather gives him a unique feeling. In response, Mayweather has lashed out at those criticizing him, saying, "I do what I want to do and support whoever I feel. How's there a crime in that? What's wrong with Frank meeting me for advice? If Tank comes, I'd advise him too, so what's the problem y'all have with me?" Despite their split and differences over the years, Mayweather had always been in Davis's corner, and Davis had generally respected the former world champion. However, with the Davis-Martin fight, their alliances clearly changed.
9 out of 10, we know your opponent sleep at that time. So go run at 2 in the morning and go give yourself a mental edge, cause you out there working every night at 2 in the morning running.
Especially after the much publicized online clash between Tank Davis and Mayweather last month. When asked if Martin learned anything from Floyd Mayweather before the fight, Martin shared some advice. "He could tell you, man, go run at 2 in the morning, because 9 times out of 10, we know your opponent sleeps at that time," said Martin, who is from Detroit, Michigan. He explained that it wasn't about training at those hours, but rather the mental edge it gives you over your opponent. Martin emphasized that it's not something he didn't already know or something big, but coming from someone like Floyd, who has reached the highest point in the sport, it carries weight.
the claims on X that your fight was canceled the last couple of weeks.
He's the one told Frank that I was running at 5 o'clock.
You are going to take a lot of heat for it, and it's going to give you a different type of motivation when you do it, Martin said. He also mentioned that even if a boxer can't perfectly mimic Floyd's advice, it still gives them a different feeling about themselves. Interestingly, this is exactly what Mike Tyson used to do before his fights to gain a mental edge. No wonder Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion and later an undisputed champion. Running at 3 in the morning and chopping wood were just a few things he did to get ahead of his opponents. However, despite Tyson's training methods and Floyd's advice, nothing stopped Gervonta Davis from doing what he planned to do on fight night. After a year-long break due to a hit-and-run case in 2022 and spending 90 days in a Baltimore prison, Davis came out on top with an 8th-round knockout.
Friday. He told Frank that. He was giving Frank the tips.
Really? How'd you know that? Just word him up?
The gap in his resume didn't dull his skills in the ring. Davis defeated Ryan Garcia in his last fight in April of last year and ended up with a similar result against Frank Martin. In fact, leading up to Davis's fight with Martin, Mayweather urged his fans to watch UFC instead, after the two traded shots on social media. Famous boxing reporter Michael Benson posted about it.
Saying this, people drive by while I was running.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So they were like spying her, kind of?
No. He got a club.
Floyd Mayweather and Gervonta Davis continued their feud as Mayweather trolled Tank by posting that the Frank Martin fight had been canceled. Tank responded, saying, "Keep talking and they'll pull up to your house and lay hands on you." Davis went on to knock out Martin in brutal fashion on Saturday. In an interview after the fight, Davis revealed that Mayweather had tried to give Martin tips on how to beat him, was giving Frank tips and stuff like that, but I know for sure that wasn't going to be enough to beat me. It's cool, it's all right. I don't really think too much of it. He's not going to hurt me, you know what I mean? It's better to beef with him than to be cool with him.
And that's why he is in the position he is in. So hats off to him. If a rematch happened, I would most certainly beat him. I've no doubt in my mind. You know, he's claimed retired. I'm not the type of guy to begrudge a man. Like, you know, the fight game is a cruel, ruthless business.
Floyd Mayweather was the one who told Frank Martin that Gervonta Davis was running at 5 a.m. Stepping away from his beef with Davis, Mayweather seems to have a big surprise for boxing fans. Who could forget the legendary fight between Conor McGregor and Mayweather in 2017? The Dublin fighter crossed over to boxing and made around $130 million, while Mayweather earned $300 million for the fight.
To see an individual go out on top like that, close to $1 billion in earnings from fighting alone, I take my hat off to that. I'm actually, after the fight, I'm like, you know what, fair play to the guy. Much respect to him. So I'm not the type of guy to say, no, give me one more.
McGregor did fairly well in his debut fight, lasting until the 10th round before getting stopped. A rematch has been discussed for a long time, and it looks like it might happen. McGregor has been waiting to return to action after recovering from a serious leg injury, but he hasn't received an official date from the UFC and is exploring other options, including Mayweather. So, what does he think about a possible Maymac 2? The first boxing clash between Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather is still remembered by many fans. But certain conditions were not in McGregor's favor. The fight took place in the 153-pound division, and McGregor had to cut a lot of weight, which also led to a loss of power.
Oh my, whoop your ass, he's 40-odd. Leave him be, fair play to him. He got the win that night. Much power, much respect to him. All due respect given to him. Let's see how it goes in the next year or two with his finances, whether he is as smart as he...
The fight was also scheduled for 12 rounds, and Mystic Mac had no prior experience fighting for that long. Bloody Elbow shared a video on their YouTube channel where McGregor showed no interest in facing Mayweather again. However, when speaking to Mara, he took a completely different approach on it. The 36-year-old has no problem facing the legendary boxer again, but this time the fight will happen on his terms. Championship Rounds shared a video clip where McGregor spoke about a possible second clash with Mayweather. He said, "You know, there are conversations ongoing. I fought Floyd at 153 pounds, which is a low weight for me, so he brought me all the way down. It was over 12 rounds, and I've never fought 12 rounds. So now the discussion is at my weight, higher, maybe 170 pounds, and fewer rounds. I would fancy it. I had him bent over, you see. I had him bent over, so what more do you want me to do? Do you want me to finish the job when I have him bent over? Mayweather isn't the only one on McGregor's radar, as Mystic Mac also showed interest in fighting Terence Crawford in a boxing match.
Crawford is very slick. He also has a wrestling pedigree. So we're talking back and forth. It's like a 2-fight deal. Like Crawford, they're talking to me here about you and me, a 2-fight deal.
The fight never happened after Crawford pulled out, but the boxer has now changed his mind and posted a message for the Dubliner on his Instagram. Two of the biggest stars in boxing and MMA, Terence Crawford and Conor McGregor, were in unofficial talks to fight each other earlier this month. The former dual-weight champion revealed that he had offered Crawford a 2-fight deal, one MMA and one boxing. According to McGregor, the deal could have allowed the undisputed welterweight champion to earn $100 million for both fights.
MMA first, boxing second. I said, I know you have an extensive background and balls the size of a Bengali tiger. They're asking for a fight. It's going to be hundreds of millions on the line.
Both parties confirmed in a phone call that they would face each other, but Crawford later pulled out. In a conversation with the media, Crawford explained why he withdrew. He said, "They offered me the fight. Me and Conor got on the phone and started trying to figure something out, man. I'm not getting in no frickin' octagon with you so you can be kicking and elbowing me." He added, "I respect that." However, the former champion seems to be rethinking his decision now and may change his mind. He recently shared a story on his Instagram with a message that read, "I Conor McGregor, I'm getting back on the mat. Stay tuned, baby. We are working."
Gervonta Davis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah, if he want to dare to be.
Conor McGregor is looking to return to the UFC, but has been constantly avoided by the promotion. He still has 2 fights left in his contract, so fans can expect to see him soon, no matter his choice. On the other hand, Tank's promoters see him as a valuable asset that needs to be protected, so they haven't made extra efforts to match him against familiar opponents. While his professional earnings have been reduced, he continues to win and move forward. Had he faced more well-known fighters in the past 11 years, he would have earned much more. When talking about Gervonta Davis, it's important to note that he is a powerful puncher, said to hit harder than Terence Crawford. With 30 career fights, he has won all of them and scored 28 knockouts.
He's great. He can be like all the other fighters that moving up 2 weight classes and, daring to be great.
You would fight him.
Man, tell him to come up there.
This highlights how powerful Davis's punches are, according to World Boxing Organization welterweight champion Brian Norman Jr., who has sparred with both fighters. Norman Jr.'s insights help us better understand the differences between these two top-ranked boxers. Frank Martin, the 23-year-old who lost to Gervonta Davis, is currently undefeated with a record of 30 knockouts and 28 knockouts. He recently defended his World Boxing Association lightweight title by stopping Martin Davis, has often claimed that he can knock out any opponent with just one punch, and believes he has become one of the most dangerous punchers in the division. His strength is often the surprise factor, allowing him to win with one devastating blow. To stay up to date with the latest news, moments, and events in the boxing world, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications for more great content like this.